Be as strong.
What's up everyone, Darcblade here with the next episode in my Agents of Overwatch series, where we take a look at the heroes in the game, going over their lore, abilities, pros, cons and more. In this episode we are going to look at the defender of Russia, Zarya. Zarya's full name is Alexandra Zaryanova. The 28-year-old Russian is considered one of the strongest women in the world and a celebrated athlete who sacrificed fame and glory in order to protect her family, friends and country during wartime. She is part of the Russian Defense Force and with her strength uses it to protect her loved ones. As a result of her experiences, she is distrustful of Omnics, even those who want to coexist with humans. Alexandra was born in a remote village in Siberia. This village was on the front lines during the Omnic crisis, which was 30 years ago. Although the Russians defeated the Omnics and shut down their Omnium in the region, the area was devastated by the fighting. Although Alexandra was only a child at the time, surrounded by the post-war destruction and suffering, she would swear that when older she would gain the strength to help protect her people. She then went on to focus on weightlifting and bodybuilding. She was soon noticed by the National Athletics Program as a rising star. Moving up the ranks while representing Russia, she was expected to shatter records and become a world champion. However, on the eve of her biggest tournament, an attack came from the long dormant Omnium in Siberia. Her village was on the forefront, and Alexandra immediately withdrew from the tournament, rushed home and enlisted in the local defense forces. She sacrificed her athletic fame and fortune to protect her people. Now Zarya has become a soldier and a symbol for all of Russia, gaining fame in maybe a different way. Now moving along to look at the weapons and abilities Zarya wields. Zarya is a 3-star difficulty tank hero. She has 200 health and 200 shields, has a slow movement speed and is an above average target size. Zarya's main weapon is her particle cannon. Its primary fire emits a beam of energy from the weapon. This beam is short range but can cut through enemies that get within its range. As long as the player holds down the fire trigger, the beam will continue to emit. It deals 95 damage per second, which amounts to about 4.75 damage per round, thus making it have a rate of fire of about 20 rounds of energy per second. The cannon also holds a total of 100 rounds before needing to be reloaded. The reload time is also 1.5 seconds. The limitation of the weapon's range means that the particle cannon can only hit targets up to 60 meters away. The distance disadvantage though is countered by the weapon's secondary fire. The secondary fire of the particle cannon fires a arcing splash projectile. This ball of energy allows Zarya to rain down an area of effect explosion on her foes. The damage is 45 per shot over a 2-meter radius. The shot is a slow moving projectile. With that in mind, remember the basics of projectile weapons. For example, shooting at where a target is going to be and not where they are. Using the secondary fire results in a rate of fire of 1 shot per second and costs 25 rounds per shot. It also has a reload time of 1.5 seconds. Neither the primary or secondary uses of the particle cannon can get headshots. The particle cannon also works in tandem with Zarya's other abilities, which thus increase the effectiveness and lethality of this weapon. Zarya's first ability is her particle barrier. When activated, Zarya will use her particle cannon to emit a personal barrier that surrounds and shields her against all incoming attacks. The shield is not invincible though. It will absorb up to 200 damage or until 2 seconds have passed. Although it only lasts 2 seconds, it can seem a lifetime to enemies and save Zarya from deadly attacks. It does however come with a 10-second cooldown. Knowing when to activate the particle barrier is key to Zarya being a tank and tough opponent to bring down. Normally it is best to activate the barrier once you know you are about to take large amounts of damage, or once you know you are going to take further damage after Zarya's base shields are gone. Zarya's second ability is her projected barrier. This works similar to the first ability, particle barrier, but instead of the barrier being cast on herself, Zarya will cast the barrier on an ally, thus protecting them from damage. The barrier works similar in that it can absorb 200 damage and has a duration of 2 seconds before fading. Zarya can cast this barrier onto any ally that is within line of sight and up to 30 meters away. It also though comes with a 8-second cooldown. Again, this can be a life-saving ability for your team, protecting weaker allies like your supports or helping your flankers when they decide to go in for an attack. Being able to read a battle is key to both the success of particle and projected barrier abilities. Thus, it is not only wise to learn all of Zarya's abilities, but also the attacks of heroes you may be facing. Also, remember that both particle barrier and projected barrier can be used to block some enemy ultimates. These are ultimates that are normally single hit ultimates like Tracer's Pulse Bomb or Junkrat's Riptire. Although they do more than 200 damage, they simply destroy the shield and won't damage Zarya or her ally that have the barrier on them. All of Zarya's barrier abilities and her particle cannon are linked together. The particle cannon and the suit Zarya wears work in tandem with one another. Through the gloves she wears on her hands, she is able to store energy within the suit, which in turn can be transferred into the particle cannon to enhance it and charge it up in various ways. When you first start a match with Zarya, you will spawn with 0 energy, which is a resource unique to her. This is indicated in the middle of the player's HUD close to the aim reticule. Every time Zarya is able to absorb incoming damage with either of her shield abilities, this will allow Zarya to gain energy up to a total of 100. With each point of energy, Zarya's particle cannon's effectiveness will increase. The damage of the weapon will increase by 1% per point of energy, for a grand total of 100% damage increase when Zarya's energy is full. The energy does not stay constant either though, as it will deplete by 2 every second. Using either fire form from the particle cannon will also drain Zarya's energy quicker. Zarya will gain 1 point of energy per 5 damage absorbed, so it's not a 1-to-1 ratio when you block damage with your shields. This means that it will take a while till Zarya becomes 100% charged. Once fully charged though, she becomes very dangerous and a powerful hero, giving her an edge in almost any combat situation. Apart from the indicator in the HUD, you can also tell when Zarya is charged up with energy, as the various lights on her outfit will start to glow brighter and brighter the more she becomes charged. So if you see a glowing red Zarya, it means that the enemy Zarya has got a lot of energy and should be considered dangerous. Zarya has one achievement and trophy linked to her particle cannon's energy. It's called Overwhelming Power and requires a player to keep Zarya's energy above 70 for 60 seconds in competitive or quick play. This comes with time as you start to master Zarya. Zarya's ultimate ability is the mighty Graviton Surge. Once ready, Zarya will launch a gravity bomb in the direction she is aiming. When fired, Zarya will announce
Огонь по готовности!
or
Fire at will!
if an ally Zarya uses hers. Once it lands or hits the surface, it will create a gravity well, pulling any opponent towards it and keeping them locked there for a brief period before the well disappears and they can move normally again. The Graviton Surge is an arcing projectile and fires similar to the secondary fire of the particle cannon. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, just 22 damage for those stuck in the well. It will affect foes though up to 9 meters and last for 4 seconds. Foes caught in the effect of the well will be stuck to its center. While they will not be able to move, they can continue to fight back and use their abilities. Some abilities can even be used to escape Zarya's ultimate, and even some heroes such as D.Va and Genji can either deflect or nullify her ultimate altogether. Graviton Surge is also one of the longest ultimates to charge. Despite this though, it can potentially be one of the best, as it gives your team the opportunity to control the enemy, and if used in conjunction with another damage dealing ultimate, even wipe out the enemy team altogether. Zarya has one achievement and trophy linked to Graviton Surge. It's called the Power of Attraction and requires a player to trap 5 enemies in a single use of Graviton Surge in quick or competitive play. This can be luck based though at times, but it actually seems to work well against organised teams who lack flankers. Whilst every hero could take on every other hero in the game, there are some matchups that are clearly in a certain hero's favour. Zarya can be a difficult hero to deal with if in the right hands. Thanks to her weaponry, she can burn through heroes who cannot deflect or block the particle cannon's beam. This includes heroes such as Genji, who cannot deflect the weapon, and D.Va, as the beam cuts right through her defense matrix. She is also strong against heroes who can easily feed her shields, such as Junkrat. She can also prevail against Winston, who she can simply out-damage and gain charge from easily, and she can also give Symmetra a hard time by destroying her turret setups easily with the secondary fire of the particle cannon, whilst easily gaining charge from the turrets at the same time. Zarya can be countered though, even though at times it may seem hard. A good farer will always keep their distance from Zarya, while at the same time raining rockets down on her. Reaper has enough firepower when up close to bring down Zarya fairly quickly, especially if her particle barrier is on cooldown. Also Bastion, if he's set up in the right position, can easily bring down Zarya with his immense firepower. Tracer can also be an annoyance to Zarya players, as even at high energy charge, she can outmaneuver her while whittling her shields and health down. Lastly, Widowmaker can have an edge against Zarya, as long as she keeps her distance from her. Of course, a player's skill should always be taken into account. Just because a hero should easily be better than another hero on paper doesn't mean this will always be the case during a match. The pros for Zarya are as follows. Firstly, she has high health and shields. Next, she's able to shield herself and her allies with her abilities. Next, she becomes very powerful when her energy charge is high. And lastly, she has a playmaking ultimate. However, her cons are that she's fairly slow moving and she has a bit of a high skill cap to master. Zarya was added to Overwatch after players started to demand greater diversity of genders, body types and backgrounds. The stereotype of the strong Russian is nothing new, but it's good to see that it is a woman behind the strength and not a man. Her strength and belief are all shown in her voice lines throughout the game. Her pink hairstyle also resembles a Blizzard employee. Lastly, her tattoo, 512, found on Zarya's left shoulder, represents the weight she can weightlift. Overall, Zarya can be a game changer, playmaker and source of annoyance for an enemy team. This of course depends on who is controlling Zarya. In the wrong hands she can be nothing, but in the hands of someone who knows how to play her and read a battle, then she can truly be a force to be reckoned with. Her particle cannon can melt foes at close range while raining down artillery fire at distant foes. Her particle and projected barriers can be lifesavers for her and her allies. Her energy charge can turn her into a powerhouse. When at high charge, if an encounter is going poorly, it is sometimes better to retreat with her rather than die and lose all that charge you have gained. Lastly, her ultimate can win team fights, so long as the enemy doesn't counter it with an ultimate of their own. Just be sure that when using your ultimate, you communicate with your team to make sure you have at least one other damage dealing ultimate ready to go, otherwise Zarya's ultimate will be wasted. Learn Restraint with Graviton Surge, and never try to use it when the rest of your team are not ready to capitalize on it. Zarya is also at her best when she is in an off-tank position, just behind the main tank. In this role, she can barrier the main tank gaining charge and fill in if the main tank should fall or have their abilities on cooldown. Off-tanks can also normally read the battle better by being slightly behind the main line. Watching for enemy flankers and getting a general layout about how a fight is going can be key to success with Zarya. In an organised team, Zarya is almost a must-have pick, as her weapons, abilities and ultimate are some of the best in Overwatch. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing my Agents of Overwatch guide to Zarya. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.
Play of the game.
Огонь по готовности!
Till Valhalla.